We can hear you.
Okay, then let's just start now.
Wait, is it live right now?
Yeah.
We can
Yes.
hear you. We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Sounds good. Okay.
We hear you loud and clear.
We've heard you the whole time.
Okay, thank you so much, guys.
We can hear you.
Yay! Okay, I think it started. Sorry, guys, some technical issues.
Yeah, so we'll get started for real now. So welcome to the SCAC, or Student Climate Action Council Town Hall, and welcome to all of our Zoom participants as well. We're so happy to have and host you here and discuss sustainability issues, and we hope you enjoy it. So we can start with the event committee co-chair introduction.
Okay, so hi guys, my name is Kimberly. I'm a current junior at Richard Montgomery High School, and I'm one of the event committee co-chairs along with Josie.
Yeah, hi, my name is Josie Kim, and I'm another junior at Richard Montgomery High School, and we're so excited to have planned this, and we can move on to our next slide.
Okay, so just a quick introduction on what SCAC is. So SCAC stands for the Student Climate Action Council. So we're a group of students working with MCPS to represent parts of the county in order to advance sustainability initiatives and create a better, greener school system.
Yeah, and some of the main projects we're working on now is our climate action plan, and we're also strong advocates for having MCPS implement more electric buses and different sustainability projects like that. If you're interested in learning more, you can also visit our Instagram at MCPS-SCAC to see some more detailed posts on some of the projects we've been doing. So now we can move on to the student introduction / school shout outs. So to all the students that are here, you can have a quick introduction, and we'll just pass the microphone around. If you want to just say what school you're from, your name, and your grade, that would be great. And I guess we can start with you.
Hi, my name is Marshall. I'm a sophomore at Poolsville High School. And yeah, is there anything else I have to add? All right, great. Here.
Oh. Hi everyone, my name is Sophie. I'm a senior at Rockville High School.
Hey everyone, my name is Ella and I'm an 8th grader at Neosville Middle School.
Hey everyone, my name is Kylan. I'm a 12th grader at Richard Montgomery High School. And I'm a at-large council member.
Yeah, wait, we can pass it to those individuals back there.
I'm Anita, and I'm in 5th grade at Lucy V. Barnsley Elementary School.
Hi, I'm Raimi. I'm from Julius West Middle School, 7th grade.
I'm Sophie. I'm a 9th grader at Whitman High School. Hi, I'm Mira. I'm a 9th grader at Walter Johnson.
To any Zoom participants who would just like to share out like their name, grade, and what school you're coming from. We can see that. Oh, Hope, if you want to share out, that'd be great. You can unmute yourself.
My name is actually Marley, and I go to Farquhar Middle School in 6th grade.
Okay, could we get Saren, if I'm pronouncing that correctly? Okay, then could we get Caleb then?
Hi, my name is Caleb. I'm in 7th grade, and I'm a student at Parkland Middle School.
And the rest of you, if you could just put your name, your grade, and what school you're coming from in the chat, that would be great. And then we can move on to the next portion of our presentation. So we have a QR code on the slideshow. If you're interested, you can scan it in order to ask a question to our guest speaker, Ms. Stewart, who is one of the members of the board. And Oh yeah, you can also put it in the chat as well, and we'll save it to a Google Doc.
But if you could, yeah, for all in-person participants, we have it. Oh,
The most preferable method is through the Google form.
yeah, it should be on the screen. So if you guys could scan.
Okay, I think we can move on to the council member introduction. So, hi everyone, I'm Nikita. Hi everyone, I'm
Okay, sorry. Hi everyone, I'm Nikita. I'm a senior at Montgomery Blair High School and I represent the Southeast area.
Hi, I'm Migna. I'm a sophomore at Montgomery Blair High School, and I also represent the Southeast area.
Hi, my name is Cindy Bagari. I'm a junior at Clarksburg High School, and I'm an at-large council member.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gauri. I am representing the Northwest area, and I'm from Northwest High School.
You take it.
All right, hi guys. My name is Walter Shaw. I'm a junior at Richard Montgomery High School, and I'm one of the at-large council members. And I'm also the vice chair right now.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Stallard. I'm a sophomore at Poolsville High School, a representative for the North area, and I'm also currently the chair of the council.
Hi everyone, my name is Taramulu Ataiwo. I go by Timo, and I am the Southwest Council. I'm a Southwest Council member and chair of the Ambassador Committee.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a senior at Whitman, and I am also a Southwest Council member.
Hi, I'm Addie Teeters. I'm a junior at Walter Johnson High School, and I represent the South Central area.
Hi, my name is Brendan Iliff. I'm a senior at Rockville High School, and I represent the Northwest area.
Hey, my name is Mohammed. I'm a junior at Poolsville High School, and I represent the North area.
Hi again, everyone. My name is Kylan Tao. I'm a senior at Richmond Montgomery, and I am an at-large council member.
Hi, everyone. My name is Quinley Borden. I'm a sophomore at Richard Montgomery High School, and I'm also an at-large council member.
Hi, everyone. I'm Renew. I'm a freshman from Walter Johnson High School, and I'm a South Central council member.
that should be everyone then, and we can move on to our keynote speaker introduction.
Hello, my name is Laura Stewart. I am currently sitting on the Board of Education in District 4, which is the Silver Spring and Wheaton area. I think Carla Silvestri is on. Yeah. I don't know if you...
Hi, everybody. I'm Carla Silvestri. Oops, my camera. I am a school board member at large. I've been on the board for about 6.5 years.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And if you both just want to give like a quick 3 to 5 minute kind of talk on the different sustainability initiatives that MCPS is currently engaging in, that would be great, just as like a preliminary to our Q&A.
I think that the big issue that we've been tackling with recently is electric school buses, which all of you might have been keeping up with this topic. And we have the largest electric bus fleet in the country. And we are doing our best to electrify the bus fleet, but we still need to purchase diesel regular buses because the companies that make electric buses are not able to make special education buses, for example. And we're dealing with some challenges in terms of charging the buses that need to go long distances. We have currently discontinued our contract with the electric bus provider, but we are looking for the technology to catch up so that we can continue to purchase electric buses and hopefully soon have all electric fleet.
Thank you so much.
I know also in my committee, fiscal management, we are looking at different pilots in schools to help have more renewable energy in our schools so that we don't have to rely on electricity. And we have a huge utility bill for Montgomery County Public Schools. If you can imagine how much you pay for utilities at home, what your parents pay, the school system pays over $50 million a year in utility costs. And so we are implementing some sustainability measures in the schools so that we can at least keep that utility bill from increasing, and we're using renewable energy in more and more schools so that we are getting that cost under control. I'll pause there.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Ms. Stewart, before we move on to you, I'm going to give a short presentation of some things that the SCAC Policy Committee has learned related to MCPS's current sustainability initiatives. So as you all know, there are several aspects to environmental impact, and among those are public awareness, so that would be transparency on the part of the school system, and then things like ecosystem harm, which includes pollution, but the most major aspect of environmental impact is carbon emissions. So MCPS has policy ECA sustainability, which details our emissions goals. And those are to reduce emissions 80% by 2027 and 100% by 2035. So I'm going to quickly go through some of the initiatives that we have currently relating to reaching those goals, and then I can pass out some charts showing you guys where we are on those goals. So the biggest sources of carbon emissions within the county are first and foremost electricity, and then secondarily things like bus fuels. So in terms of electricity, there are a few ways to reduce our energy usage, right? So the first there are things we call the low-hanging fruit, things like inefficiencies in our current energy use that can be fixed simply with newer technologies. So for example, by replacing HVAC systems, right? So to deal with this, a little over a year ago, an MCPS contractor company researched into the inefficiencies in our current energy usage. And the inefficiencies that they found were addressed by MCPS, and they are being addressed by MCPS right now with a series of projects that will total to $43 million in infrastructure projects to improve our efficiency, and that will reduce our carbon emissions hopefully by 2.5%. That's the projected reduction from these improvements. So that's an amazing thing that's going on right now. And another way to reduce energy usage is by electrifying the grid. And at the end of the day, to reach our 100% emissions reduction goal, this is what we have to do, because we can't just continually reduce our inefficiencies until we get to zero. We're still going to be using energy, right? So these, the projects that we have in place to electrify the grid include things like green energy at our schools. So as of right now, 17 MCPS schools have solar panels. And on a good day or on a sunny day where those solar panels are near capacity, they produce around 30 to 50% of the energy for those schools. So it's still not nearly 100%, but it's definitely a good portion. And also 32 schools have geothermal heating and cooling systems that remove the carbon emissions that would result otherwise from those systems. And one of the other major sources of energy usage that I mentioned earlier was bus fuel. So MCPS has a total bus fleet of over 1,300 buses. And of those right now, 235 are electric. And that's the largest electric bus fleet in the country. So that's pretty significant. But still, of course, it's not enough to reach the goal of cutting our emissions completely. And part of that is due to, as Ms. Silvestre mentioned, some supply chain issues that we've had with our bus supplier. We actually recently partially terminated the contract with that bus supplier for those reasons. So that was definitely a good step. So now that we've covered the major emissions reduction strategies that are happening currently in MCPS, let's look at the numbers. So for our in-person Students, can someone help me pass these out? Thank you, great. So I'm going to pass out these charts, and this shows the emissions reductions that have taken place in MCPS from 2005 to 2022. And what they show is that we've reduced our emissions by just about 20.3%. And while that is pretty significant, the reality is that it's nowhere near these very ambitious goals that we have set, right? And so this is where the SCAC comes in. We're working to form a work group to write a climate change action plan for MCPS. And what that would do is hopefully bridge the gap between these ambitious policies and ideals that we have and the actions that are actually being taken. Because the actions that are being taken right now do not put us on track to reach those ambitious goals. And that's what we need to be working towards. So our climate change action plan will have elements that bring us closer to that through actual solid action that will be taken within MCPS. So that's one of the main things that we're working on as a council right now. And that was also a summary of some of the initiatives on sustainability in MCPS. That's all I have.
So now we can move on to Ms. Stewart. Do you want to give your 3 to 5 minute kind of little speech on sustainability within MCPS?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me here to address the Student Climate Action Council. I just want to let you know that you all are actually blazing a trail for us to follow. You're actually taking on leadership for our school system, for instance, in making the action plan, the climate action plan, because really it's so important that we have that, so we have a roadmap on how to get to the goals which is already in policy. And also, that might be able to give us more information to know if we need to adjust our policy. So I look forward to reading about your plan. I just wanted to let you know that I did visit your website and I read the other white paper that you all wrote on artificial and natural grass turf fields. And I thought you really did a great job of explaining the case, the climate case, and also the environmental health cases for both of those fields. And so that is something I would like to revisit in the future, because I don't think that paper was presented officially to the board, and it could have, but maybe I missed it because I didn't start on the board since December 3rd is when I actually came on. So let's just continue to have that dialogue. And it's really important to make sure that we're moving fast enough to actually help the next generation. As far as the buses go, just because we hit some speed bumps along the way doesn't mean that we have to stop moving forward. Yes, we needed to pause for just a bit, but there are technologies that are constantly being worked upon, and so we should track, and hopefully you all can help us track the technologies as they come on. I know there's other school systems that are starting just now to get to the place where we're at, so let's keep a close eye on those other jurisdictions so we can learn from them as they've probably learned from us. Just as a personal side note, I actually just got an EV car, so I'm learning about EV technology just from my own usage and how, for instance, weather affects the efficiency and different ways of driving affects efficiency. And also, just to let you know, there was a transportation report that talked about, and there was a change in law in Annapolis that means that not all school transportation has to look like a yellow bus. So maybe that's something that we can look for in the future about different types of vehicles and how that works with fuel efficiency. And I think I hit most of the major points. We didn't talk about plastic usage yet. So maybe that's something I know I've always heard from students that we should try to reduce our plastic usage. It was a student group that actually was more successful than the adults in the room in getting water bottle filling stations that are filtered. There is kind of a relationship between environmental health and environmentalism, and sometimes they work perfectly together and sometimes they don't, so that is just something for us all to be aware of. Just to let you know a little bit about me, and is that okay? Because I don't know if everyone knows my background here.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, great. So I actually started as an advocate, not as young as you all are starting, but later as I got more involved in schools and in PTA world. I've always been interested in environmental health. And what really got me more activated was finding out about the levels of lead in school water. And so I really worked on policies to limit exposure. So water is an interesting point to get into environmentalism because microplastics get in the water. Also PFAS, which is related to plastics, get in the water. And these affect our health. And there's other chemicals that get in our water that is probably affecting our health today. So if we reduce plastic usage, it actually would help our entire ecosystem because everything depends on water. So that was my entry point into advocacy. So I led advocacy in PTA, also at the state level in Annapolis. Some of you, we actually testified together on a couple bills, Megan, and we've had some success together. So I hope we continue that success. And now that I'm on the Board of Education, I would love to hear from you. So please feel free to come anytime to share your research with us because we're just one. Well, there's 8 of us. We have a team, MCPS team, but you all are a powerful team too. And so we can learn from you and you can learn from us. So I just hope we continue that relationship.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. We have some questions in the Google form too. So our first question is, what other actions are you planning on doing in the coming years to make a more green MCPS?
I think something that I would like to bring up, and you brought it up already, is our HVAC, our heating and air conditioning systems. They do take up a lot of our energy, and they are very antiquated. Many of them really need replacement. And so that is a challenge that until we replace a lot of those HVAC systems, are going to be sucking up energy and being inefficient. And so we really need to lobby and prioritize for funding so that we can replace old HVAC systems that are inefficient and ineffective with new that are both better for the environment, but also better for our health. So I think that's something that we will continue to advocate for. Our HVAC systems are very backlogged. We have many, many schools that have systems that need to be replaced. We've started to get more the county council to prioritize the HVAC funding, but it's something that we have to stay vigilant on, both for the comfort, your comfort, teachers' comfort. Sometimes we get complaints that you have to wear coats in the classroom or it's so hot because the HVAC system is so out of whack. So it's good for your comfort, but also for the environment, that we continue to replace those old systems with more efficient systems. And that will be a huge win for sustainability in MCPS.
Thank you so much. So our next question is, what is being done to implement composting in schools, and how can schools or other people, students, help to get this done?
I'm not sure about that one. Do you know, Laura?
So I know that I actually worked with Compostology, I think I'm saying that right, who actually started the composting movement in MCPS. And I know that that was expanding to more schools. I don't have, since I've been on the board, I haven't gotten an update on where we are, but I can definitely check up on that. I know in Annapolis there's been some advocacy there too. So actually I don't know if anyone here is working with compostology, but if actually I could learn more maybe from here. Oh, yes, there we go. I don't know how many schools are we up to?
Oh, hi. Sorry, could you repeat the question?
How many schools are we up to that have the compostology program?
Yeah, I don't really have an exact number, but I know it's like at least 10, which is actually like really good progress. But yeah, we're in the process of starting more schools though. But yeah.
Great. So I think right now that's more of a partnership. I would like to see MCPS actually take more of a leadership role in that model. I think it's a great model because it's kids involved in it and adults, and there's buy-in from the community. I think that's really important to have. So that's definitely something I would like to see expand this year. The other issue, I just wanted to associate myself with Carla's remarks. HVAC is so important. And just my own, I had an old HVAC system in my house, and we replaced with the unit, an air conditioning unit. And immediately the next summer, we spent so much less electricity. And so that's just a small example. So imagine if we're putting these solar panels in geothermal, et cetera, but then the system we're using is a big, user of energy. You're not really realizing the benefit, right? So as we upgrade our infrastructure for reusable energy, we should also upgrade our systems like HVAC systems so we're actually feeling the benefit, and then we'll get that percentage of our electricity we use so much more just because the systems that we're using won't be using as much, if that makes sense. So if the efficiency and the supply kind of work together.
Also wanted to jump in a little bit more about composting. I believe this group, correct me if I'm wrong, also came up with a plan not only for composting, but for reducing food waste. Because it's not okay to have it's great to have a great composting program, but if we're at the same time wasting a ton of food because, in the cafeteria, we don't do a good job of repurposing food that doesn't get eaten, and the share tables are not being effective, that's not okay, right? So first we have to reduce food waste. And then the food that is compostable, then we need to compost it. So I believe that was a plan that was developed by this group, and I think they go hand in hand. We can't have one without the other.
I also would like to continue to see the water bottle filling stations, filtered water bottle filling stations, be installed in schools. And let's start, now that we have 2 in every school, we should look at scalability. So if a school that has 3,000 students should have more available than the school with 1,500 students. So let's see where we can put those, and also have a campaign so we make sure kids know to bring water bottles.
Thank you so much. We're going to transfer to the next question by Lefon. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong. How can students get more connected to this kind of whole climate change topic, such as school clubs or maybe other initiatives that students can take within the MCPS community that can help them get connected with this issue?
I'm going to first say, join the SCAC. We have ambassador applications open right now. A shameless plug, but that's a great way to get involved.
Another great way to get involved is to encourage your school to be a green school. That is a program that you have to meet certain benchmarks, but students can actually help the schools meet those benchmarks. And I work with someone, a volunteer, who is my green school expert. So if you're interested, if you don't know if your school's a green school or not, I can get you connected to a volunteer who knows how to get that started in schools. So eventually, the best thing would be is if all of our schools were green schools. And that means that you'd have more access to outdoor opportunities to learn, but also do projects like composting and reducing plastic usage.
Okay. If Ms. Silvestre has nothing to add on, then we'll move on to the next question. Actually, we see that we have a couple hands raised in the chat, or not in the chat, sorry, in the Zoom meeting. So we actually will call on, these individuals. So Jessica, if you'd like to ask your question, you can just unmute and, ask your question.
My name is not Jessica, but for Lefon, I'm pretty sure a required school club, at least that's what my green team sponsor said. There is a school club called Green Team, which is basically is like a sustainability club.
So
this was a suggestion for how kids can get involved. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. If we could have Naomi ask her question then.
How or what ways are there that students can help their school become a green school?
So really, so just to let you know, like the student can't start the process of being in your school. That actually has to be an adult, but you can talk to an adult in your school about coming up with those steps. For instance, having a great recycling program. That's one of the check marks to be a green school. Having some kind of outdoor, diversity and plants type program, that's a way, outdoor learning, and also just tracking, how electricity is being used. There's different ways to get there, and an adult would have to definitely help with that.
Hi. Yeah, so talking to your student government leaders, maybe they could kind of champion this with the administration, so it's not just you, but you have the support of your student leaders at your school. The more students that can speak up about this, the more traction there will be to start something like this, and get your parents involved as well. Have the PTA also champion becoming a green school.
The PTAs, that's the other thing I was going to also suggest, so thank you, Carla. But you could present this idea to the PTA, and then a lot of times there's a green committee at the PTA level, and then they can help engage with leadership to figure out a way to get there. So it does take some commitment from staff But we do, I believe we have 50 green schools. I don't know what the number is right now. I'll have to go ask.
Thank you so much. So we're just going to take a couple more questions. I know that we see Naomi Yang has a question. So if you want to unmute and quickly ask your question.
I wanted to ask, what are the positives and negative sides of both regular buses and electric buses?
Well, I can, or
yeah, go ahead, Laura.
Carla go first on this one.
You go first.
Well, Carla probably has, she has a longer view of this because she's been on the board for 6.5 years. I've been on the board for a few months. So, but obviously, the positives is that we are reducing our greenhouse gases emissions. So, and that's the goal for the planet. But for a more personal reason, for as students, is that the emissions that come from buses, some of it does get into your lungs, right, into your bodies. And so that can exacerbate issues like asthma and other breathing issues. So it's not only healthy for the environment to reduce the emissions, but actually for personally your own body and also those around you on the road. Now, some of the problems is what we've mentioned. The battery technology is okay for certain distances, but Montgomery County is a big county, and sometimes we do bus kids a little bit of a longer distance, especially for our magnet school programs, and so then it reduces the amount of runs that bus can do. And when it was extremely cold, like in the teens in the morning, sometimes we had a hard time getting the buses to operate properly, and then that caused some extra time, get them out on the road, and then we need buses to get kids to school. So the reliability issue is something that we need to be prepared for, especially in very cold weather.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And, we have to provide transportation to our students. And so we just have to have, we just can't have that uncertainty that, oh, it's too cold, it's not going to run. Kids have to get to school. So the reliability issue is a concern. And we just need the technology to get better so that we can, and I'm sure it will, so that we can use electric buses more reliably.
Let me just quickly add. Hello? Okay, great. I'm just going to quickly add a few things. I know that there's an economic difference between electric and diesel buses. Correct me if I'm wrong, either of you, but I believe it's that electric buses cost slightly more upfront, but long-term they save money. And then the one other thing I wanted to add was that while electric buses do reduce emissions, that is only if we're actually using clean energy sources, right? So MCPS currently obtains about 38% of its energy from green sources. And so the electric buses are not getting all of their energy from, or they're getting some of their energy still from fossil fuels, right? So that's another thing we need to be aware of when we're saying that they reduce emissions. Although, of course, I agree with you that they do. Okay.
And that's a good point. So again, that's the big picture, right? The small picture is actually on the road where you're at, where you're physically at. You're not getting those emissions directly, and so, but it does end up getting into the environment. But then sometimes it's easier to come up with ways, so we do get some of our energy still from coal, but there are ways to make that cleaner, and then that affects all the energy that people use. So it's just efficient. It's more efficient to make that clean energy more centrally located and not like each individual point. So anyway, hopefully we'll get there, and maybe one of you will come up with a solution someday.
We also need to build up the charging infrastructure, right? We can go to a gas station to get gas, but we need to build more charging stations so that the electric buses can get recharged in different places throughout the county. And we need more companies to produce them because we can't rely on one company. What happens if that company can't fulfill the contract? And then we're in the situation where we are now.
I wanted to talk about diversifying our fleet. Right now, it seems like it's hard to do that with the way our infrastructure is, but eventually, I mean, this is not the board talking, this is me, Laura Stewart, talking. I would like to see if it's possible to diversify our fleet because there's other technologies that are on the horizon, and so it's not like we have to be tied to just one company, one technology. So we should be open to other technology.
Thank you so much, everyone. But I think that's all we have all the time we have for our Q&A session. Thank you so much, Ms. Sylvester and Ms. Stewart, for coming and talking to us about sustainability and MCPS. We really appreciate you answering all of our questions.
Thank you.
So now we have a few more guest speakers to hear from. Some of the organizational speakers we'll hear from is EcoMoco, Compostology, MCR Environmental and Sustainability Task Force. But for now, we'll start with an EcoMoco presentation from Marshall.
As well as
everyone. So me and Ella, this is Ella.
Hey everyone.
Are going to be presenting about EcoMoco, and I'm really excited to be here and to meet you guys. Yeah, so my name is Marshall. I'm the treasurer of EcoMoco, and as I kind of said before, I'm a sophomore at Poolsville High School, so it's really nice to see everyone here and to meet everyone on Zoom. And Ella, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, and my name is Ella, and I'm one of the environmental education directors, and again, I'm an 8th grader at Neosville Middle School.
Okay, great. Okay, so EcoMoco began in 2022. It was started by Lumina and Peter, who are in the photo right there. That was them when they were a lot younger, so it's so nice to see them that way. And oh, that's weird to say that, but yeah, basically, it's been a really long journey, and so far we've had around 100 plus members. At the start of the organization, we had around 30 members, but now we have 100 ambassadors as well as 100 plus executive board members and more than 40 chapters nationwide. So in terms of the structure, we can talk about the officers. Peter and Lumina are the co-presidents as well as the co-founders. Peter is attending at Northwest High School and Lumina is attending Winston Churchill High School. I am the treasurer and I go to Poolsville High School, and Jill Perano, our secretary, is a senior at Springbrook High School. In terms of the committees and departments that we have chief of staff, communications, environmental education, finance, policy, public relations, and volunteer. So if you're interested in any of those topics, if you want to apply for EcoMoco sometime at the end of this year, you can apply for any of these departments.
And this is a really cool map showing where we have all of our chapters. So as you can see, we have a lot in the DMV area. We have one in California. We have one in Puerto Rico down here. I don't know if you can see it. And we actually have one in Uganda. So we are international. Woo!
Yay!
Yay! Clap!
Yeah!
So we have one in Uganda, and that's super cool. And they're actually really active. They're getting a lot of work done. And so again, this is kind of our national structure. So we have our national leadership team, which you guys know more as like our executive board, so what we just talked about. And then we have our headquarters, so here, and then our national chapters, like we said, by the map we just showed you. And so here are some of the things that we've done before. We've made eco kits, and so these are like home care kits that we distributed out to our community. We've done a bunch of advocacy, so letter writing campaigns. Recently we did one for BEPS for the county council, which was the Building Energy Performance Standards, and they actually passed, which is really exciting. We've had so many fun trash pickups and like group bonding activities, recycled art events, and countless executive board meetings, workshops, and bonding events where we've had a lot of fun.
Yep, and next slide. Okay, so let's talk about how you can get involved with EcoMoco. So just from my experience, I feel like EcoMoco is a super fun community, and if you guys are interested in this stuff, you should definitely join. First of all, we have chapter applications are open. So if your school doesn't have a chapter, or if your general region doesn't have a chapter, you should fill out this form right here. There's a QR code on the slide, as well as a chapter guide and an application. So if you don't know what a chapter is, it's a branch of the organization located in a specific area. So that could be your school or your region. And it's a great way to meet new people and to gain leadership experience. Okay, and here's just some examples of the numerous resources that chapters are given. So if you're worried about starting your own club or starting your own organization, don't worry, we help you out along the way. Okay, so, and how you can get involved with the headquarters. We will be releasing applications soon, so what I would do is follow us on Instagram at EcoMoco Advocacy. We'll be releasing applications at the end of the year, so that would be in May or June. You can also join right now as an ambassador or as a general member, and it's great if you could even just come to the in-person meetings, so anything counts, honestly. We also, right now, I think Ella's department is heading it, we have a PSA contest, right? And yeah. Yeah, it's not my department. Oh, really? Oops, okay, so we have a PSA contest for EcoMoco, and we're offering 10 SSL hours. So if you guys want to get involved that way, and you want that 10 SSL hours, go follow our Instagram, and you'll see that post. All right, thank you guys. So does anyone have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you.
Where do we get the SSL form thing?
Okay, so I would go to our Instagram, that would be at EcoMoco Advocacy, and we made a post for the volunteer department where we have the PSA contest, and you can get all of the information for that on the Instagram.
What's it called again? Sorry.
EcoMoco, so ECOMOCO.
Marley, feel free to share your question.
I accidentally had my hand raised.
All right, all good. If anyone else has questions, feel free to ask.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, no, you can get involved if you're in elementary school as well as middle school and high school. Sophie, do you have a question?
Do you have
Okay.
So I think Sophie's mic isn't working. So for now, I think we can move on to the next presentation. Thank you so much for presenting, guys. And again, if you're interested in getting involved with EcoMoco, they have their Instagram, email, and website linked on this page. So our next presentation will be from Compostology.
We'll have Sophie come up so she can give a quick introduction about herself.
Okay, can you guys hear me? All right. Okay, awesome. How are y'all feeling? Oh. Whoa, guys. So it's great to see everyone here. My name is Sophie. I'm a senior at Rockville High School, and I'm also the co-president of Compostology along with Karina Gupta. I want to do like a quick question or like a test. So it's like low-key like a little tricky, but how many pounds of food waste were sent to landfills in 2017? Oh, in Montgomery County. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not. Okay, what's your guess? Ooh, you're kind of off, like by a lot. Walter? 206 206 million. Oh, I don't. You kind of. Anyone else? Anyone else?
206 billion pounds.
No, not 206 million pounds.
Ella said 3 million.
Ooh, you guys are kind of off. Ooh, not 2.001. Anyone else?
600 million?
No, you guys are kind of close. No.
7 million.
No, it's not. Anyone else?
89,000.
80. No, you guys are kind of off. Okay, any other guesses? Any other guesses? Okay, so it's actually 248 million pounds of food waste. So you guys were kind of off, but that's okay. But basically, I just wanted to kind of introduce what compostology actually is. So it was started back when two students, Advika Argawal and Angelina Shee. They both went to like Richard Montgomery High School, but they started compostology because of the amount of food waste that they saw in their school cafeterias. So then as a result, they started their own composting programs at their schools, and they wanted to take it a step further by expanding it to a lot of schools across Montgomery County Public Schools. I believe a few years ago, they actually worked on a bill called SB 124. Does anyone know what that is by any chance? Or anyone have heard about it? Okay, we have like Miss Laura Stewart. But basically it was SB 124 is a grant program that would allow students or school systems and local counties to apply for these grants to set up their own composting programs. It was around $250,000 and it eventually passed in the Maryland General Assembly, so that was really cool to see. But it basically just kind of lets students have an opportunity to see like composting in action in their schools and just be able to really participate in that climate action change. So in terms of how these composting programs actually work, if you want to start your own program, you have to talk to like a teacher at your school and say that you're interested in, and then you guys can come to compostology and be like, hey guys, I want to start a program, and then we'll get you like sorted out. We'll have like these meetings with you guys, and we can like recruit volunteers to help you guys like set it up. And then yeah, and then there's going to be like green bins in your cafeterias, and that's just kind of how like these composting programs work. It really is like all student led. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about like starting your composting program, please feel free to let me know. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sophie.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, I didn't have slides, but that's okay.
If anyone on Zoom has questions, this would be the time to ask.
What type of teacher is needed to start a composting program?
It can be any teacher. It can be like your Green Club advisor or just like any teacher who's interested in setting up a composting program. Yeah.
If anyone else has any other questions, you can just unmute.
Oh, what's your question over there?
Oh.
Yeah.
So the question was just what was composting exactly for the people in the Zoom?
Yeah, for sure. So just to kind of like answer again, so basically how the process works is that there's going to be like a separate green bin in your cafeteria. So for all like the foods that can be composted, you guys just put it in the bin and then we'll like transport it to like a composting facility. But we already have like that covered. So yeah. Any other questions? Okay, if not, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, so the next organization we'll hear from is the MCPS-MD Environmental Task Force.
So if we could get a big round of applause.
Hello? Okay. Hi, everyone. I don't have a presentation or a fun Q&A, so I'm just going to give you a small spiel of who we are. I just want to say it's an honor to be here today as a council member and the outreach chair for the Student Climate Action Council. And before I discuss the work we have accomplished, I would like to introduce an organization that have been instrumental in amplifying student voices in Montgomery County, and it's called the Montgomery County Regional Student Government Association, or also known as the MCPS-MD. So just for a background, MCR-SJ is a county-wide student leadership organization that represents the voices of students across all 26 MCPS high schools. And while within MCR, we have the Environmental and Sustainability Task Force, or the ENS Task Force, which provides high school students with the opportunity to advocate for climate issues at the local, state, and national levels. So through this task force, students are able to organize countywide events, collaborate with esteemed environmental organizations, and influence climate policies that shape our future. So climate change is not a distant issue. It's here, and it's real, and it's urgent. So we see the effects in extreme weather patterns here and rising global temperatures and the growing impact on communities worldwide. But rather than being overwhelmed by the crisis, we have to choose action, which is the point of this task force. So through this ENS task force, we have taken meaningful steps to address climate challenges in our own communities. So some tangible effects of what we have done. We have initiated clothing drives to promote sustainable fashion and reduce waste. And we have volunteered at farms, not only learning about sustainable agriculture, but also contributing to local food systems while earning student service learning hours. And we have built connections with experts, including professionals from NASA and Washington-based climate organizations, to gain insight into sustainability at national and global levels. Additionally, we have created a fun blog where students from across the county can share their sustainability journeys, whether through pictures of their vegetable gardens, poetry about the environment, or essays on climate action. And while these accomplishments are significant, there is still much work to be done. And the fight for climate justice cannot be won alone. We need more students to get involved. So if you are passionate about making a difference, I encourage you to take action. There is an MCR-SGA executive board meeting right here tomorrow from 6 to 8 p.m. And also you can speak with me after the event so I can provide you with my contact information. And I know we have some non-high schoolers here, so I can help you get involved as well. And we're working to ensure that every high school student has a student leader advocating for climate action. So I urge you to consider stepping into that role. Thank you so much for your time today.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask now as well.
For the SSL form, are we using our school email or like our personal email?
It's a school email.
We will be sending out that form later, not at this current moment. So for those who are wondering about the SSL form, please stay tuned until the end of the meeting, please. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Although MCR is rooted to high schoolers, I can try and get you involved through middle school and elementary schools by joining in one of our activities. That would require some talking with the advisors, but I will try and get you involved as much as possible.
And this question is, what's the difference between what the MCR Environmental Task Force does versus the SCAC?
So I think SCAC is more rooted towards other organizations and connecting them to MCPS high school or MCPS as a whole. We are more rooted into student advocacy in the high school level only. But I mean, I see there are other middle schoolers and elementary schoolers here. So of course I'll try and get you involved in the task force as well.
Are there any other questions? If not, then we'll move on.
So for the next portion of the event, we'll be having a quick break. So if you're on Zoom, come back in about 5 minutes. And if you're in person, we'll reconvene in 5 minutes, but feel free to grab some pretzels or an orange.
What time does this go to?
The meeting will go until 8 p.m. And that's also when you'll receive your SSL hours.
I have some questions about the earlier topic about electric buses.
So actually the next segment of our meeting is going to be student discussions. So this would be a great opportunity and time for you to discuss those topics. I'm pretty sure we do have a group that would be focusing on topics such as that. So feel free to talk about those topics during that time. That's the next segment after the break. So if you could ask those and discuss those at that time, that would be great.
And we'll come back at 7:15 p.m.
Thank you.
Hello, hello. Also, one more thing. If you are acting inappropriate in the chat or via camera, you will not receive your SSL hours and you will be reported. So please choose your time wisely.
Okay, everyone. So you should be back from the break now. We're so excited to have you back. But so for now, we'll be moving into our student sustainability discussions. I'll open up breakout rooms for the Zoom, and each breakout room will have a council member join, but please try and distribute yourselves pretty evenly amongst the breakout rooms, just so we have a good amount of people in each discussion room. So the rooms have just been opened.
So we do note your participation. So please note that you will only be getting your SSL hours if you're an active participant in these breakout rooms. Each of these breakout rooms will be monitored by a council member, so they will be noting your participation. So please be an active participant. You don't have to, you don't even have to turn on your camera. You can just unmute or even type in the chat. But council members will be monitoring and leading each of these breakout rooms.
And just as a note, but the breakout room should be in the bottom right corner of your screen. So if you click on that option, you'll be able to see the 7 different breakout rooms you have and an option to join each one.
All I see is the leave meeting button.
Sorry, I'll get that fixed right away.
Same. Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see anything.
There's no
Yeah, I
breakout
can't see
rooms
anything.
bottom. Now, yes.
Okay, we just fixed it. So everyone should be able to join a room. Each title of the room corresponds to the topic that you'll be discussing in that room, so please feel free to join any of the ones you would like to join.
Hold up. In the bottom right corner?
Yes, it should be titled Breakout Rooms, and you should be able to join any one you want to. Okay,
Oh, I still,
for those, yeah.
I still see nothing.
Oh, do you not see it currently, or?
No.
I see it.
It might be in your More tab. So if you go to the More, and then it should pop up on the drop-down menu. You should see it then.
Drop down menu. Record. Oh, I see it.
Okay, great. If anyone has any issues joining, please let us know. We can actually just move you into the breakout room manually. For those in person, they are getting situated, but we will be breaking out into groups on the slideshow shown.
And also, this breakout room is mandatory, so you do have to leave the main room and join a breakout room if you want to receive your SSL hours.
I'm so sorry I missed the last bit. How do I get to the breakout room?
So you can enter the breakout room in the bottom right corner. You should have a breakout room tab or option, and we have 7 different breakout room options for you to choose from. Just pick one and kind of distribute yourselves amongst those.
It doesn't
Tanya,
show
do you
those
have a
options.
question? Because you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I still don't see the breakout rooms on the bottom right corner. Like, nothing shows up for me.
Oh, for me, it's on top of above the switch to gallery view.
Everyone else still currently in the main breakout room.
group that was in person here.
Yeah, so wait, we'll send over.
We'll send over a mic for you to speak really quickly about what your group talked about. But is there any representatives who want to volunteer and...
So we briefly talked about all 5 topics. I'm not going to talk too much. I know Megan has all the notes if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more. But some of the things we talked about were incentivizing, families who are looking to reduce their carbon footprint. We talked about...
Well, we talked a lot about recycling and whether or not people will really cared about like recycling and stuff.
We talked about students or SJs kind of piloting programs that would, like lessons like made by students for students that would kind of encourage students to recycle a little bit more. Do you want to say something?
We also briefly talked about saving energy and kind of light switches and that kind of thing.
I'm gonna give it to Megan.
Sure. Okay. So going back to the energy conservation topic, we did talk about how technologies, better, more efficient technologies can save money in the long run. But the main concern that we're facing right now is that the short-term costs can be slightly greater than less efficient technologies, which is where we're MCPS is struggling to actually put those into practice. And then we did talk a lot about recycling. We talked about Ellis School actually piloted a program where students were giving lessons on how to recycle properly. And so that led to an improvement. But mainly the problem right now is that a lot of people don't care about recycling. And that was the conclusion that we came to. So just spreading awareness would be the best option. And then we talked a little bit about MCPS green policies. We talked about the problems a little bit with carbon capture and carbon credits, and as Ella did mention, we talked about incentivizing MCPS families to reduce emissions as well. But yeah, which other group?
Oh. I'm so sorry, I just wanted to add on the incentivizing bit, we also talked about adding an emotional appeal to these sorts of things so they have kind of something that they're looking forward to do when they're recycling.
Perfect. Does someone from the waste reduction group want to share out? And feel free to just unmute and give a brief little 1-minute summary of what your group talked about.
All right, so for the waste reduction group, we didn't really get as much participation as we were hoping for. A lot of the broader examples we were talking about were a lot less specifically composting, and definitely the way we can promote composting more in school through social media, posters, SGA, all those kinds of things, just so we can spread the word specifically and some of the health issues and and a lot of the pollution that comes from our waste here we produce at MCPS. Additionally, some of the ideas we did have for a reduction in waste, we talked specifically about, like I said, composting, potentially thrifting clothes, recycling old materials, a lot of general stuff. I will admit, I do think we could have covered more, but participation wasn't great for us.
Thank you so much. We can move on to green policies now. Does a representative from that group want to do a quick share out?
Yeah, sure. So in our group, we started with kind of an overview of our MCPS sustainability policies, right? So policy ECA sustainability, right? Montgomery County's climate action plan. And then we also moved into ways that students can kind of influence these policies, right? So whether that's advocacy, right? Testimonies, writing letters to board members, county council members, right? Different state elected officials, right? Those types of things. And also just taking the initiative at your school level. We had a great conversation about about green schools, and we're gonna. I think we had a lot of members in our breakout room who wanted to follow up around that. So I think that's really exciting. And also we also talked about kind of electric buses and the policy there and how that's going to influence whether we meet these climate goals. So all around, we just had a great discussion about kind of how the policies are going to be implemented and how that's important to meeting these goals. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Quinley. Could we get the energy conservation group next?
Okay. Yeah, we were the energy conservation group. I think the general consensus was that we knew that energy inefficiencies are like a huge part of our carbon emissions. But it's kind of like there's not really that much awareness about how our energy usage can translate to that. And we had really productive discussions. When talking with some of the students, I learned that sometimes like people would walk around at night, they would see that their school building's lights were completely on, and there was just like overall some regulations that were like a lot of the infrastructure, like heating and cooling, that could be turned off at certain times were still running. So kind of the regulation of our HVAC systems, which is really important because again, it's like 50% of our school's energy goes towards HVAC. So as we mentioned earlier in like the group discussion and Q&A, improving our HVAC infrastructure is a huge priority. And MCPS has been doing a lot for that. They've been conducting school audits for it. And I think also another general takeaway was that we generally just need more transparency and like just more communication from MCPS because they're doing a lot of great work on this issue, but I feel like students aren't getting as much of that information as they would like to. And there's also a lot of great positives about it. I heard from a student, I think it was at Wheaton High School, who they had like 4 days where they focused on, all the science classes got together and they focused on how they can conserve energy in their schools, whether it's like unplugging chargers when they aren't being used to reduce phantom energy, or having motion sensor cameras in each of the classrooms so you can tell when people are inside or not, and accordingly you can turn on and off the lights. So overall, it's like, there was some issues, but also there was a lot of discussion about the great work that has been happening on MCPS's side, as well as student-led. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Next, we'll hear from water usage.
Yeah, so we had a lot of great participation in the water usage group, and there was kind of 3 main things we touched on. So a lot of us realized that we don't have that much sustainable infrastructure in our bathrooms specifically. For example, the sinks can keep running. So some options that we discussed having in our bathrooms, and that someone at Poolsville actually mentioned they had, was something called like low flow plumbing, which is just where less water trickles out. And some toilets have options. You can like pick how much water you would like when you flush. So that's also something that Poolsville has. Automatic faucets is another thing. So you can't just like turn it on and then like have it like run forever. It'll stop the water. So that also prevents like people turning on the faucet and just leaving. Another issue we talked about was fixing problems in the bathrooms that lead to like floods and leaks and water waste. So that would be ensuring that leaks are fixed promptly, because especially there are a lot of leaks, but administrators don't know about it and can't fix the problem. So encouraging students and like incentivizing students to like report these problems in the bathrooms, or reporting clogged toilets, or like a lot of things that do lead to excess water usage and water waste. And then the last thing we talked about was teaching students how to conserve water and encouraging them to. So like, for example, having signs at like on the sinks encouraging them to conserve water, but also encouraging water conservation at home, and in science classes talking about the importance of water conservation and ways they can do that at home as well.
Perfect. Next, could we hear from recycling?
We had a really good discussion. Thank you to everyone who participated. And we were talking about how students can get involved firsthand with recycling, because we were talking about beyond elementary school, there's like not a green team option or anything like that, so it's hard to get involved firsthand. And what someone brought up was like a workshop or a teach-in, and we were talking about how firsthand experiences can help spark investment in recycling, not only recycling, but also like the climate advocacy movement. And so we were talking about how the SCAC have talked about doing like a partnership with EcoMoco or the task force to do a teach-in, but we were also talking about how MCPS could use teach-ins not only as a resource to educate students on like AP test packaging recycling, but also like as an opportunity to get kids involved and realize their own impact in recycling.
I think we have a question or a comment here.
I feel like kind of some of the groups kind of have impacts on other, like they were saying with the like water reduction thing, that they could use like automatic sinks, but that would use energy, so it kind of has an effect on like the energy reduction group and stuff. Energy conservation group and stuff like that.
Group presentations?
We can move on to composting now, and then we have one more after that.
All right, so the main, I guess, like points that we brought up during our group, this was a small group, but it was a pretty engaged group. We mostly talked about boundaries that members face with composting. We had a couple of, students in our room who actually wanted to start their own composting initiatives or add on to already existing composting initiatives. So the main thing, the main thing that we talked about is how to overcome these boundaries. So one of the biggest issues that was brought up by some of these students was being able to find teachers to sponsor composting clubs at schools, and also issues with funding. And then to kind of counteract that, we started talking about, very MCPS central solutions, such as the grants offered by MCR, or finding teachers like that are already passionate about these issues to be your club sponsor, such as an AP and Bio teacher, and then also creating stronger partnerships with organizations that promote composting and funding. Additionally, just involvement within the community. We talked about attending events like the Twin Brook event on March 31st, which the SCAC is helping with, and also just using opportunities such as Earth Day as awareness campaigns.
Thank you so much, Walter. So we'll move on to our last and biggest group with 32 members, electric buses.
All right, so our group had a lot of great participation. So first of all, thank you for everyone with all the amazing questions. I guess we could kind of summarize what we talked about into 3 sectors almost. So we talked about one, cost and implementation, then design and concerns about design. And then lastly, I guess we could say we talked about resources and controversy around where the electric bus fleet is going to be powered, specifically in charging stations. So first, on cost and implementation, there were a lot of good questions on, how much it's going to cost to have each individual bus produced, and then how much the overall implementation of those electric bus fleets will take in MCPS around each school system, since the final assumed goal is that MCPS wants a majority electric bus fleet in our school transportation sector. So we talked a bit about that, and then we talked about design and size.
Yeah, design was also a big part of what we talked about. They were talking about how the size between gas buses and electric buses could maybe cause some issues with efficiency, and we talked about that as well. And also we talked about resource management and how these buses are going to expand in the future, because they talked about how these buses are not having a really significant impact right now, but then in the next future 10 years or so, these buses will be more expanded into more communities with the densely more populated communities as well. So that's another thing we talked about. And also student advocacy, how the students can get involved in this process. A lot of people asked that, and we told them the SCAC ambassador application is happening, and yeah, and testimonies.
Thank you so much. So we can move into our conclusion now, and we'll briefly go over how to get involved with the SCAC. But before that, could we have everyone in the Zoom turn on their camera so we can take a quick photo with everybody?
Yeah, so this will only be for a short while, just for 5 seconds. So if everyone can just turn on their cameras really quickly, we just want to get a quick little picture with everybody on Zoom because we're not in person.
Yeah, so we just took the photo and we can move on to our last section on how you can get involved with the SCAC. So the first and foremost is to join our ambassador program, and the link to join that is again in the chat. So if you're interested in joining that, we have rolling applications, and we're always open to having middle schoolers, high schoolers, even elementary schoolers be involved with the SCAC. So it would be great if any of you could fill out that application and become more involved with us. And another way you can do that is to follow our Instagram at MCPS-SDAC, and we post a lot of the updates and projects and initiatives we are engaged in on that page. And then in addition to that, and this kind of ties into it, but just stay engaged with upcoming SCAC events and projects. And again, you can do that by looking at our Instagram page or looking at our website to see what exactly we advocate for and what we're involved in. And finally, the last thing you can do is attend our monthly SCAC meetings. So we typically have a work session from 5 to 6, and during that time, anyone is invited, and you can learn how you yourself can advocate for the different things that SCAC does, such as the Climate Action Plan.
Okay, awesome. I know we're over time a little bit. I just wanted to quickly add that the information that we learned from the discussions with you guys, that's not going nowhere. We're going to use that as we consider our climate change action plan, as we consider our other initiatives. So we will be taking it into account. So thank you all.
Okay. And then we can move into our last slide, which is the attendance and SSL form, or after you scan the attendance code, we'll send you the SSL form that you can turn into your school to receive your 2 hours.
So just so everyone's aware, if you don't fill out this QR code, this Google form, we will not be able to send you an email with the SSL form. So please make sure that you fill this out. We did write this already into this form description, but please make sure to double check all information that you are inputting in, as this is the email.
Can you put the form again?
It's on the screen currently.
You think you could put the SSL form in the chat? Because I can't.
Yes, no worries. We can send in the link as well.
Thank you. I have a question.
Give us about 2 seconds. We will get it into the chat very, very soon.
Okay, I've just put it in the chat, so you should be able to access it with that link.
So we just have to fill out that form and that's it?
Yeah, and then we'll email you your SSL hours following the completion of the form.
Thank you so much.
No problem, you're welcome.
Do the SSL hours count towards the superintendent award, which is like when you get all your SSL hours like before April 4th?
Yes, it does. So if you just fill out that form, those 2 hours will help contribute to your journey towards getting that superintendent award.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
And you're all free to go as soon as you fill out that form.
So it is in the chat. If anyone has any other questions, please let us know. But with that, this is our conclusion to the SCAC Town Hall. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you to all the Zoom participants. We had over 100, I think 140, over 140 members join on Zoom. So thank you guys so much for coming and participating. Please stay back if you have any other questions or have any troubles with accessing the Google form. But other than that, this is the end of the meeting, so you are all free to go. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.